What if something you take each morning with the goal of protecting your health is silently undermining your body's strength, more specifically, your legs? The foundation of your movement, your independence, and ultimately your longevity. Here's a surprising insight. Muscle loss after the age of 60 isn't just about aging or inactivity. It's often driven by the way your body processes specific nutrients, and some vitamins, commonly taken for general wellness, may actually accelerate the very decline you're trying to prevent. One large-scale study published in JAMA Internal Medicine found that high-dose supplementation of certain fat-soluble vitamins was linked to increased risk of mobility impairment in older adults. And yet, millions still take these daily, unaware of the trade-off between perceived health benefits and subtle muscular decline. Now, to be clear, this isn't a scare tactic. It's an invitation to think critically and align your habits with what the science actually shows. Because what's happening in your muscles, joints, and even your nervous system is far more dynamic than we once thought. Nutrients don't operate in a vacuum. They interact with your hormones, your microbiome, and even your brain's motor cortex. And that means a supplement that benefits one system might be quietly damaging another. In this episode, we'll explore 2 specific vitamins that can weaken lower body strength after 60, and the mechanism behind how that happens. How to spot the warning signs that your supplements might be working against you, what the research says about optimal muscle function, and what your nervous system needs to maintain strength and balance. What to take instead, smarter alternatives that actually support neuromuscular performance and tissue repair, daily protocols to protect your legs as you age, using food, movement, and timing, and how to recalibrate your supplement strategy based on science, not marketing. Let's unpack this together so you can stay strong, steady, and capable in the years ahead. You've probably heard this message countless times. Take your antioxidants. They fight aging. And yes, in many contexts, they do. But here's the paradox. Too much of a good thing can interfere with the body's natural ability to grow stronger. Vitamin E is one of the most well-known antioxidant vitamins. It's fat-soluble, which means it's stored in your body's tissues, especially in fat and muscle. While it plays important roles in protecting cells from damage, research has uncovered an underappreciated downside. High-dose supplemental vitamin E may blunt your muscles' ability to adapt and strengthen, particularly after exercise. Let's unpack this. A 2014 study published in the Journal of Physiology showed that when people took high doses of vitamin E and C during a strength training program, their gains in muscle mass and strength were significantly reduced compared to those who didn't supplement. The reason? These antioxidants suppressed what's called oxidative signaling, a crucial process in which small amounts of reactive oxygen species, ROS, act as messengers to stimulate growth and adaptation. In plain terms, some oxidative stress is necessary for your muscles to get stronger. When you lift weights, walk uphill, or even do balance drills, your muscle fibers sustain tiny bits of stress. That stress sends a signal to your cells. Adapt, grow, get stronger. But when you flood your system with high-dose antioxidants, like vitamin E in excess, you essentially mute that signal. Your body thinks everything's fine, so it doesn't bother to repair or rebuild. This is especially problematic after age 60, when the muscle's responsiveness to growth signals is already reduced, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. Older adults often need a stronger stimulus to trigger muscle growth. So if you're unknowingly suppressing that stimulus with daily high-dose antioxidants, you're making it even harder to maintain strength and mobility. It's not just about exercise either. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition also found that excessive vitamin E intake was associated with increased risk of hemorrhagic stroke and all-cause mortality in older adults when combined with other fat-soluble vitamins. That's because vitamin E interacts with vitamin K pathways, potentially impairing proper clotting and calcium balance, which also affects muscle contractility. Have you ever noticed feeling a little more sluggish or unstable on your feet after starting a new supplement routine? It could be subtle, But your nervous system and muscles are highly sensitive to these internal changes, especially as we age. So what does this mean practically? Here's a simple tool. Avoid exceeding 150% of the recommended daily allowance, RDA, for vitamin E unless directed by your doctor for a specific deficiency. The RDA for adults is about 15 milligrams per day. Many anti-aging supplements deliver 400 to 1,000 IU, often 10x more than necessary. If your multivitamin contains more than 100 IU, consider switching to a lower dose or skipping it altogether if your diet already includes nuts, seeds, and leafy greens, all rich natural sources. Also consider your exercise routine. If you're engaging in resistance or balance training, which you should be doing after 60, you want your muscles to respond fully. Don't mute the signal they need to grow. What's happening in your brain when this occurs is also important. Antioxidant overload can dull the redox signaling that helps regulate neural adaptation to movement. That means slower neuromuscular coordination and reaction time, key ingredients for staying mobile and avoiding fall. The bottom line, vitamin E is not inherently harmful, but in excess, it disrupts the natural stress responsor systems that your body relies on to stay strong. Now, we'll explore another overlooked culprit, vitamin A, and how too much of it can weaken your bones, impair your muscle coordination, and even interfere with balance. Vitamin A is essential for vision, immunity, and skin health, but when it comes to your bones, muscles, and long-term mobility, more is definitely not better. What's surprising is that many older adults are unknowingly consuming toxic levels of preformed vitamin A, also known as retinol, through fortified foods, multivitamins, and standalone supplements. And this quiet overload has been linked to reduced bone density, impaired muscle function, and even balance issues. In a major population-based study published in the New England Journal of Medicine, high serum levels of retinol were associated with an increased risk of hip fracture in older adults, even among those who weren't deficient in vitamin D or calcium. Why? Because vitamin A, when consumed in excess, inhibits osteoblast activity, the cells that build bone, and stimulates osteoclasts, the cells that break bone down. But it doesn't stop at the skeleton. Vitamin A overload also disrupts the way muscles contract, particularly in the lower body. Here's the mechanism. Retinol interacts with vitamin D receptors in the body. When too much A is present, it can block or compete with vitamin D, which plays a critical role in calcium regulation. Without proper calcium balance, your muscles, especially fast twitch fibers that control reaction time and balance, start to fire less efficiently. This is where things get practical. Have you noticed occasional missteps while walking or a feeling of being less sure on uneven ground? That may not just be aging. It could be a subtle sign of neuromuscular desynchronization when your muscles and nerves aren't communicating as cleanly, often triggered by nutrient imbalance. In fact, a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that older adults with high dietary or supplemental intake of preformed vitamin A had greater difficulty with coordination tasks and higher fall risk, even when their vision and general mobility were otherwise normal. The challenge is that vitamin A comes in two forms: preformed A, a retinol, retinol esters, found in animal products and supplements. This is the type that can become toxic in excess. Provitamin A, found in plant foods like carrots and sweet potatoes. The body converts this only as needed, so it's much safer in larger amounts. Unfortunately, many multivitamins, especially those marketed for healthy aging, contain 250 to 750% of the RDA for vitamin A in retinol form. That's far more than the body needs, especially if you already eat eggs, liver, or dairy, which naturally contain it. Here's what you can do. A simple tool to apply is to check your labels. Aim to stay under 3,000 IU, 900 mix, of preformed vitamin A daily. If your supplement lists vitamin A as retinol palmitate or retinol acetate, and especially if it's paired with a high dose of vitamin D, consider switching to a beta-carotene-based formula instead. Also, balance matters. The ideal scenario is adequate vitamin D3, moderate K2, and a diet rich in colorful vegetables for safe vitamin A precursors. This synergy supports not just bone density, but also smooth, responsive muscle contraction, especially important in the hips, thighs, and stabilizer muscles that prevent falls. If this insight is helping you, consider subscribing. There's more where this came from. Each week, we dive deep into tools to improve your brain, body, and habits using the latest science made practical. What's happening in your nervous system when these nutrients are off balance is critical. Think of your legs like an orchestra. The nerves are the conductors. Your muscles are the instruments. If you overload one section, the whole performance suffers. So to stay strong, coordinated, and upright in your 60s and beyond, don't let a well-intentioned vitamin quietly sabotage the system. Now, we'll go deeper into why oxidative stress isn't always the enemy and how your body uses it to stay sharp and strong. We often hear the word oxidative and immediately think of damage, wrinkles, inflammation, even chronic disease. And that's not wrong in excess. But the full story is more nuanced. What's often overlooked is this: your body depends on small amounts of oxidative stress to grow stronger, especially your muscles. This process is called oxidative signaling, and it's one of the most vital biological systems that gets disrupted when we overload on antioxidant supplements like vitamin E or A. To understand this, let's look briefly at how your body adapts to challenge. When you engage in any strength-building activity, whether it's resistance training, climbing stairs, or even standing on one foot, you're applying a stressor to your muscles and nervous system. This stress creates reactive oxygen species, ROS, which are essentially metabolic sparks created as a byproduct of energy production. Now, here's the counterintuitive part. These sparks aren't just waste. They're signals. Your cells interpret these signals as a call to action. Repair this tissue, reinforce it, make it more resilient next time. That's oxidative signaling. And it's essential for mitochondrial biogenesis, muscle protein synthesis, and even the recruitment of motor units, the neuromuscular links that allow you to produce power and prevent falls. But when you flood the system with high-dose antioxidants, particularly synthetic vitamin E, vitamin A, or even megadoses of C, you short-circuit that signaling pathway. You blunt the message that tells your muscles to grow. A fascinating study published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences found that individuals who took high levels of antioxidants during endurance training had significantly less improvement in their mitochondrial function, meaning their cells didn't adapt to the stress the way they should have. Think about that. You're doing the work, exercising, stretching, building good habits, but your supplements may be quietly dampening the payoff. This is even more important after 60. Why? Because the ability of your muscles to sense and respond to stress, what scientists call mechanotransduction, starts to decline with age. The signal needs to be clearer and stronger. That's where oxidative signaling becomes your ally, not your enemy. Have you ever felt like your workouts just aren't producing results anymore? Like your strength is plateauing or even slipping despite effort? It may not be your discipline, it may be your cellular messaging system being muffled. Here's a protocol worth considering. Avoid taking antioxidant supplements immediately before or after exercise. Give your body at least 3 to 4 hours to experience the ROS signal before blunting it with high doses of vitamin C, E, or A. Focus on getting antioxidants from whole foods like berries, leafy greens, and turmeric, which provide a balanced blend of phytochemicals your body can regulate more intelligently. Support your mitochondria with nutrients that enhance their function, not suppress it, like CoQ10, alpha lipoic acid in moderate doses, or NAD plus precursors like NMN. What's happening in your brain is equally important. Oxidative signaling supports the production of brain deficient neurotrophic factor, BDNF, a molecule that helps keep your motor neurons sharp and plastic. That means better coordination, faster reflexes, and stronger mind-muscle connection, especially in the legs and hips. So rather than fearing all oxidative stress, it's time to embrace a more precise strategy. Support your body's adapted stress and avoid the excess that leads to degeneration. Remember, your body isn't fragile, it's responsive. And when you feed it the right balance of challenge and recovery, it gets better, even after 60. Let's dive into how some vitamins impair your nervous system's ability to send strong movement signals and what that means for your strength, balance, and independence. Strong legs don't just come from strong muscles. They come from a strong connection between your brain, spinal cord, and those muscles. That connection is the nervous system. And while it's often overlooked in conversations about aging and mobility, it's absolutely critical. What many don't realize is that some vitamins, when taken in excess, can impair your nervous system's ability to function optimally, affecting reflexes, balance, coordination, and even how powerfully you can contract your muscles. Let's zoom in on how this works. Your nervous system operates on electrical and chemical signals. These signals depend on healthy neurons, intact myelin sheaths, the insulation around your nerve fibers, and efficient neurotransmitter function. When everything's firing well, your muscles respond quickly, your balance is sharp, and your reaction time stays fast, even in your 60s, 70s, and beyond. But here's the problem. Certain vitamins, particularly fat-soluble ones like A and E, in high doses can disrupt that finely tuned system. For instance, too much vitamin A has been shown to negatively impact neuroplasticity, your brain's ability to adapt and maintain motor coordination. In animal studies, high retinol intake reduced synaptic plasticity in areas involved in motor control. And remember, this isn't just about what happens in a lab. This plays out in how confidently you step off a curb, turn around quickly, or catch your balance when stumbling. Then there's vitamin E. While it's an antioxidant, excess E can interfere with the mitochondria in your neurons, reducing their ability to generate ATP, the energy currency your nerves need to function. A study in neurobiology of aging found that older adults with very high vitamin E levels had slower nerve conduction velocity, meaning their nervous system was simply slower at doing its job. Have you ever noticed a subtle lag between your intention to move and your body's response? That hesitation can come from a dampened neuromuscular signal, and vitamins, ironically meant to protect you, can be part of that disruption when not carefully dosed. So what can you do? Here's a practical strategy. Limit fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, K, to within 100 to 150% of your daily needs, unless medically indicated. These accumulate in your tissues over time and don't flush out like water-soluble vitamins do. Prioritize nutrients that support nerve function and conduction speed. These include vitamin B1, essential for nerve energy metabolism, crucial for myelin repair. Magnesium threonate, which crosses the blood-brain barrier and enhances synaptic density. Omega-3 fatty acids, especially DHA, key for maintaining flexible, high-defining nerve membranes. Also, think about your movement habits. Your nervous system adapts based on use. So tools like balance drills, single leg stance practice, or even light agility work, side steps, quick turns, but only if your nerves are chemically supported to fire efficiently. Here's what's happening in your brain. When nerve signals slow down or get distorted, your proprioceptive feedback loop weakens. the internal sense of where your body is in space. That's why falls often seem to come out of nowhere for older adults. But often the early warning systems were dulled long before the stumble happened. So if you're over 60, this isn't just about strength, it's about signal clarity. If you're finding value in this and want more tools to protect your mind and body, consider subscribing. Each week, we unpack the science in ways that help you take action, not just take pills. Now we shift from what to avoid to what to add. Science-backed nutrients that genuinely support strength, power, and resilience as you age. So far, we've talked about what to limit or avoid, especially when it comes to excess vitamin A and E. But what's equally important is knowing what to take instead to build strong, responsive legs and maintain long-term mobility. Here's what the research shows. There are certain nutrients that not only support muscle mass, but also enhance the nervous system's communication with your muscles, improve coordination, and even help you recover faster. Let's walk through the most science-backed options. 1. Vitamin D3 plus K2. Think of this duo as the architects of strong, functional tissue. Vitamin D3 improves muscle strength by boosting calcium uptake and supporting fast-twitch muscle fiber recruitment. Meanwhile, vitamin K2 ensures that calcium ends up in your bones and not your arteries or soft tissues. One meta-analysis in Osteoporosis International found that older adults with sufficient D3 levels had significantly better leg strength and balance, reducing fall risk by over 20%. And when combined with K2, the improvements in bone mineral density were even more pronounced. Protocol: aim for 1,000 to 2,000 IU of D3 per day, paired with 90 to 120 mg of K2, MK7. Take it with a meal containing healthy fats to enhance absorption. 2. Magnesium threonate or glycinate is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions, many of which directly impact muscle contraction, nerve signal transmission, and cellular energy production. Magnesium threonate, in particular, crosses the blood-brain barrier and supports neuromuscular coordination. In a study published in Neuron, older adults who took magnesium threonate showed improved synaptic density and working memory, both important for maintaining balance and reaction time. Protocol: 100 to 200 mg of magnesium threonate in the evening can support calmness, sleep, and neuromuscular recovery. 3. Creatine isn't just for bodybuilders. It's a natural compound that enhances ATP production, the quick energy your muscles and brain use for fast, powerful movements. In a randomized controlled trial published in the Journals of Gerontology, older adults supplementing with creatine while engaging in resistance training gained significantly more lean muscle mass and leg strength than those training without it. What's happening in your brain is equally exciting. Creatine has also been shown to support cognitive function, particularly during periods of fatigue or stress. That's a double win. Protocol: 3 to 5 grams per day, ideally post-exercise or with a meal. 4. Omega-3 fatty acids, EPA and DHA. These essential fats reduce inflammation, protect cell membranes, and improve nerve conductivity. In fact, a study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that higher blood levels of DHA were associated with better muscle quality and grip strength in older adults. Omega-3s also enhance motor learning and plasticity, making your brain better at integrating balance and coordination drills. Protocol: 1,000 to 2,000 mgs combined EPA plus DHA per day with food. 5 curcumin. This natural compound from turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory effects, but more importantly, it supports neuromuscular recovery and protects against oxidative damage without blocking adaptive signals, unlike synthetic antioxidants. Studies suggest it may reduce muscle soreness and preserve neuromuscular performance when taken consistently. Protocol: 500 to 1,000 milligrams curcumin with black pepper extract, PFP, for absorption, preferably in the morning or post-exercise. Now, To be clear, supplements aren't magic bullets, but when combined with the right movement protocols, like strength training twice a week, balance work, and walking daily, they create an environment where your body can respond and grow, not just survive. If you've ever wondered, what should I actually be taking after 60 to keep my legs strong? This is your foundation. Let's pull it all together with a daily protocol, a realistic, neuroscience-aligned routine that protects your strength and keeps you moving well. By now, you understand the risks of excessive fat-soluble vitamins like A and E, and the value of targeted nutrients that truly support muscle and nerve function. But here's the most important piece. It's not just what you take, it's how and when you take it that determines whether your body benefits or breaks down. This final section is about integration, turning the science into a simple daily routine that supports your legs, balance, and longevity without overwhelm. I call it the Daily Reset Protocol. It's designed to reduce supplement overload, enhance nutrient synergy, and make your nervous system and muscles more responsive over time. Let's break it into 3 simple pillars: timing, cycling, and movement pairing. 1, timing. Align nutrients with your body's rhythms. Your body runs on a circadian clock, and so does your metabolism. Certain nutrients are best taken at specific times to maximize their effectiveness and avoid interference. Morning. Vitamin D3 plus K2 with breakfast enhances calcium utilization and supports motor neuron activity during the day. Curcumin plus piperine reduces systemic inflammation and primes the nervous system for movement. Midday. If you're exercising, delay antioxidant-rich supplements like vitamin C or E until several hours post-exercise. Allow your body's natural oxidative signaling to do its job. Evening. Magnesium threonate or glycinate to calm the nervous system, aid recovery, and support motor learning during sleep. Optional, creatine monohydrate post-dinner if not taken earlier. Avoid taking high doses of vitamin A or E at night. They can interfere with hormonal repair cycles and nerve activity, especially in older adults. 2, cycling. Prevent toxic buildup and restore sensitivity. Just like your muscles need rest days, your supplement receptors need breaks. When you take high doses of the same compounds daily, your body adapts, often by down-regulating absorption or storage capacity. Here's a simple cycling method: 5 days on/2 days off for fat-soluble supplements, D, K2, omega-3s, curcumin. Alternate weeks between antioxidant-heavy protocols and mitochondrial support, E, G10, alpha-lipoic acid. Every 8 to 10 weeks, take a microsect week where you reduce all supplements by 50% and focus on food-based nutrients. This helps restore metabolic sensitivity, the ability of your cells to actually respond to the nutrients you provide. 3, movement pairing. Reinforce strength with signal. What's happening in your brain is this: when you pair targeted nutrition with specific types of movement, your body creates neurochemical associations. These improve not only muscle mass, but also reflex pathways and coordination. The best time to lock in the